Hey you guys, Chef Justin 23 back here again, and today is another movie review. Um, Actually, a couple days ago, actually about like 2 days ago, me and the girlfriend we went to go see The Great Gatsby. So the movie review today is on The Great Gatsby. Um, I gotta just say the actors in it: Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire. Um, I forgot the girl's name, Carrie. I think her name's Carrie or something like that. She was a girl who played in Drive. I remember her. At least I think she did. She was the neighbor of Ryan Gosling in Drive. But yeah, I gotta say it's such a great film. I really loved it. It was such an awesome film. Um, Actors in it was great. The soundtrack of the film was so killer. Like it clashed with like modern music, to the old 20s music. So I mean, it was so great. A little Jay-Z plus a little 20s music clashed together in it, made the soundtrack killer. That's how you do it. It's that movie's such a great film. Um, Movie's basically about it, or the movie basically starts off by Tobey Maguire. Um, Tobey Maguire's in a doctor's office or a psychiatrist's office, and he's talking to his psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist is like, so like what are your like what's wrong? Like he kind of wants to know the details of why he went from where he was from before to now. I'm not gonna try to ruin parts of the movie, but yeah. So the psychiatrist was asking him like, why did you go from here to there? And he was just telling him it's because of a good friend of mine, Gatsby. He says, and then and he's like, and he starts telling the story about how he met Gatsby, and then as soon as he starts telling him like how Tobey Maguire was a writer, but he went from writing to be a bondsman in New York City, and somehow he moved in New York City to Long Island, or in Long Island, and next door is Gatsby, and he met Gatsby as his next door neighbor, and eventually he says it's too painful to talk about. Then he's like, his psychiatrist was like, tell him, why don't you tell me the story as if you're writing it? So he starts writing. He starts getting on his typewriter. He starts writing and writing all about his adventures and his memories of Gatsby and all this stuff. And then throughout the movie, he tells the story as a book, as he's writing it. And while he's talking about Gatsby, it tells him like how he met him, as he was invited to one of Gatsby's famous parties, because Gatsby always threw great parties throughout the weekend, Friday, Saturday, um, and supposedly he was the very first guy, or the very first person ever to be invited to Gatsby's party. So Tommy Maguire was always going around the mansion and the parties, asking people, "Oh, do you know where I can find Mr. Gatsby? He invited me to this party." And he goes and tries to find him, and eventually he meets the Great Gatsby, or Gatsby. Not too many people knew who he was, even he just threw those parties. Gatsby did walk around throughout the parties, had a good time, but no one knew who he was. Some people thought he was an assassin, or he was a war hero, or he sailed the seven seas. They started rumors about who is Gatsby and what he is and stuff. And then throughout the time, Tobey Maguire he continues being Gatsby's friend, and helps him out by meeting his cousin, which was the girl, um, because in a long time, Gatsby and Tobey Maguire's cousin were together. They were like boyfriend girlfriend for a very long time, and then Gatsby suddenly had to move on because of he was not deported, but he was deployed to war. And throughout the time when he was at war, he came back, and he had to break it off by his very last letter to Tobey Maguire's cousin. I don't know her name. I'm sorry, you guys, about that. Um, so he writes her the last story. He writes her the last letter by saying, "I can't be with you. I'm not the man that you're looking for. I'm penniless," because she grew up more of the high end, but he grew up on the poor end, and like he knew that he can't support her and everything, so um, he didn't want to put her through the rough times or take her out of her element. So he broke it off with her until he became rich, and then he finally did his search to find her and everything. He moved. He actually moved into a house that was across the bay from her, so it wasn't too far away, so he could keep an eye on her and everything. Unfortunately, the girl was married to some dickhole in the film, and Gatsby was such a great guy. He's such a heartfelt, Prince Charming type of guy, you know. Um, and the fucking bitch in that film kind of blew him off, you know. So eventually they did end up back together. Throughout this, like you'll find out how they ended up and everything. I just don't want to give too much more away of the film. It is such a great film. I think it's one of the greatest films I've ever seen. It is one definitely to watch. I give it such a high recommendation to go see. It is a long film, but I highly recommend to go see it. Um, so definitely, yeah, like definitely go see that film. If not, then definitely pick it up on DVD or Blu-ray, you guys. But I hope you guys like my review on the Great Gatsby movie, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire and that one chick from Drive. I think her name was like Carrie or something like that. I can't remember her name. But yeah, till next time, I'll see you guys. And please comment, subscribe, and just continue watching. See you guys.